What's up, online shoppers? If you are looking for a way to get a break from the sun's glaring rays and a little bit of shade on an area where you don't have shade, this is the Venustas Sun Shelter Shade Tent with UPF 50 plus, and it is absolutely awesome. Weighs 3 pounds, or as the product description says, 3 tins of beer, which I had a little chuckle over. Goes together in about 5 minutes. So why don't you watch me put this together and you'll see why you absolutely want to have one of these. Now, I love that everything comes in a nice compact little package. The canopy right here, especially for first time instructions, they sew the instructions right into the bag, and that is super convenient. Tent pegs, which you are going to use to stake your tent down. That's going to prevent it from blowing away in the wind. Little metal pegs like that. And the bones, or the skeleton of this, fiberglass elasticized rods that will go together as a crisscross structure to your tent. And I do suggest that when you're doing it, that you put the poles in before you connect the ends, because I just find it's a smoother process that way. Now, this little tent is awesome. I've had this one for a few years. We use it all the time. I always stretch it out first and make sure that I have the zipper that opens to the front facing where I want it to go. Now, a little hint for you. This is the front that I'm zipping closed. I always make sure that the flaps are undone when I close it, because otherwise you're wrestling a large balloon trying to get all the air out of it so that you can collapse it and fit it in that little bag I showed you. One of the things that sold me on this was the beautiful color combination. I definitely have an affinity for blue, and I loved the blue and gray design of this. Now, you want to make sure that you put these in crosswise, because the idea is that the poles are going to cross, provide the structure for this. Now, instead of connecting it to the base right away, I would suggest that you put both sides in, because I find that's more helpful. Now, the only time it gets a little awkward is if the tent gets caught on connecting pieces of the fiberglass poles. Now, these little rods are fiberglass. They do connect really easy. Your tabs have 2 little holes. The first one has a raised edge. That's the one that you push the fiberglass rods into, and I suggest you put it there, keep the tension on it so it doesn't pop out, and then give this a nice little bend and get it pushed in just like this. First one's pretty easy. Second one can be a little bit awkward. Put it in the end here. This one here connected. Stand it up, and I'm gonna stretch it down. This is the most smooth way to get this connected, like this, and then just a little stretch, and you've got it all set up. Now, before I peg it, I just want to show you something. These little things here, these are multi-purpose. They actually work as sandbags. So if you want to keep a couple Ziploc bags with you, you can fill them with water or sand and put them in here. That prevents these from getting filled with sand and being extra weight in your bag, but it's a nice little hack that I use. Next step is going to be our tent pegs. You might want to add a little mallet, unless you're blessed with easy ground like I have here at camp, where you can just push them in with your hands, which is really nice too. Make sure you stretch it a little bit, because I find that that helps. Now, I also love that everything stores right back in this little bag. And you see that that was probably about 4 minutes of assembly in total. You would definitely have privacy in here once this is zipped up. And the fact that it's zipped up like this also helps to keep the bugs out. So if you have a little one that loves to nap at the beach, you can keep them out of the sun and out of the bugs. Like this. You can let this fold in as you want, or fold it out. Additional space in here that's a sand-free zone. Put some little weights on the end, maybe your sandals, maybe pick up a couple rocks to keep there, but you can actually spread it out and keep it that way, which is going to help to keep the sand out of your stuff. Now that I'm inside here, I'm sitting up. I'm about 5'6", so you can see that I can definitely get in here and sit upright. A little hook that you can hang a fan or a light if you have it set up in the evening, speaker, so you can jam out to your tunes. Front flap unzipped, and all the privacy flaps undone. You've got 360 degrees viewing. So if you want to sit in here and read, because it gives you a better light for reading and your little ones are playing, you've got a nice shade that way. I also find the airflow in here to be really, really good. Like, it's shaded and I can feel the breeze coming through here, and that is a nice relief from the heat of the day. We don't just use this little tent for the beach. We use it in the backyard at camp to give the kids a place to play outside, gets them out of the cabin, keeps the flaps open, zip this up, free from bugs. I also love that we can take this to the soccer field and set it up. It gives me a place to keep the snacks, keep the kids' gear, keep the kids when they're not on the field and they get a break from the sun, a little bit of a place where they can sit and hydrate, which is pretty cool. The bottom is a nice thick nylon canvas. The top is not only UPF 50 plus, it's also waterproof, so you are going to have a significant amount of shelter in here. As you saw in the video, the setup for this is super fast. You're set up in about 5 minutes. Takedown is just as easy. All you have to do is fold it up, zip it all up in the bag, and you're good to go. This is absolutely one of the most versatile pieces of summer equipment that I have. We use it at the beach, we use it at the soccer field, we use it at camp, we use it to keep the kids out of the bugs, we use it to keep the people out of the sun, we use it as a place for the pets to cool off, place to keep all of our possessions a little bit out of prying eyes when we're at a very public beach. And if you do this all up, you've got a place to get changed out of prying eyes too. So if you don't want to stay in a wet bathing suit all day, just do up your flaps, nice and easy, and you've got a nice private place to get changed. If you are looking for something that is reliable, versatile, durable, and that is super convenient, and as they say, weighs less than 3 tins of beer, this little pop-up sun tent shade shelter from Venustas is absolutely awesome. We've had it in our family, we've used it on multiple trips, and it is definitely a family favorite at our house.